Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
Starting the recording.
Okay, I hope that you are not distracted by the sound of my spaghetti squash sizzling very loudly. Can you hear it?
I don't know if I could probably take the microphone over there next to the oven. I can hear it for sure.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like I'm murdering her.
No, it sounds very pleasant.
It's crackling squash.
Crackling Squash. Sounds like a pretty good band name. Crackling Squash.
Hi. Would you care to not yell?
I wish I could think of more things to talk about since there's nothing to talk about in these chapters.
I was reading them. We can talk about how I officially started Path of Daggers.
You did now.
Yeah, I'm 23 pages in.
You did now. Is that the whole epilogue?
No,
What's the epilogue, like 300 pages?
The prologue?
Prologue. I'm good at words.
I don't know how long the prologue is. I know the prologue in the first chapter are 63 pages. I don't know where the division is. Yeah, because that's what I'm going to try and write about this week.
Oh, good luck.
Thanks. It is, let me tell you, not a good idea to take a 1.5-year break between reading time books.
All the defenses you've built up.
Yeah. I'm also just, deeply confused.
It's like when you,
you guys know I'm an idiot anyway. I can't remember fucking things I read 3 minutes ago.
It's like if you read Wheel of Time, then you sort of build up, an immunity to it. Sort of like a resistance to drugs,
yeah.
So you have to keep upping the dosage. But then if you take some time off, quick cold turkey,
yeah.
Suddenly you go back and you get knocked flat by
I might overdose
half a NyQuil.
On Robert Jordan's gender politics.
Oh, boy. And yeah, Path of Daggers is not a great one to... I'm excited to read about you. I don't want you to look anything up. I just want you to be confused relentlessly.
No, at first I was sitting there and I was like, I could Google it. And then I did that 6 times and I was like, I don't care. I'll figure it out or I won't.
I've done that so many times and I'm like, I don't remember how this is going to go. Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, it's just whatever, man. Tybalt, do you hear the spaghetti squash?
Tybalt is like, what is this apocalyptic squash crackle?
It's so funny. His ears
Snaps, crackle, squash, rice, Christmas.
He is this is the closest I've ever seen him get to the oven, unless he's trying to get on top of the oven.
Bastard.
This is so funny, you guys. He's so fascinated.
Snap, crackle, squash.
I don't know why it's being so loud, because I didn't use as much olive oil as I normally do.
It's just a very crackly squash.
She just has a lot to say, I guess.
She's dying.
Yeah, she's wailing.
These are her screams.
It's so sad to think about.
I don't want to think about that. Poor squash. This is Everybody Hates Rand. Why don't I just say it at the beginning?
Because we're dumb.
I don't know.
We're stupid.
I've done this so many times.
Yeah, 120, baby.
120 times.
Actually, more than that, because some of our episodes are numbered. Probably 125 times.
Jesus Christ. And every time I'm like, I guess I'll wait until 10 minutes in to say, this is Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Emily Jushaw.
I'm Sally, and sitting here next to me is Tybalt.
And sitting to my left is our oven, which is making crackling noises that I pray to God are not audible over the microphone because it might sound like a haunting.
It's just my squash.
It's just Sally's squash.
I just want some squash.
That's good.
I love squash. I cut it open and it just smelled so squashy.
I like watching you make squash.
Thanks.
Nice. Spaghetti squash is a very satisfying food to watch other people
very satisfying.
make.
Yeah, because when you scoop it out and they turns
Yeah.
into, like, strings.
That's so cool. It's just like, how did a food do that, you know?
I don't know. God punished me with my immune system and said, oh, sorry, sis, and created spaghetti squash.
He needed a spaghetti.
Yeah. He was like, sorry, that was an accident. Here's have some squash. Yeah, like a football.
I just got a mental image of, the Charlie Brown comic strips with the football of God holding a spaghetti squash like a football and being like, if you can kick this, I'll give you an immune.
If you can kick this, I'll give you a functioning immune system. And then I missed it.
Because God pulled it away.
Yeah.
He's a tricky bastard. Or she. Or
They,
it.
it.
Yeah. God
Tybalt.
has no gender or whatever.
Tybalt.
Tybalt.
Guys, I keep having dreams that I have a math test the following day.
Oh, that's
Isn't
upsetting.
that very strange and specific?
I had a dream, a very intense and intricate dream that I was back at my old high school.
Nope.
And that was bad enough. And I could not find my old locker, nor could I remember my
That's so
locker's
scary.
combination. But I had like a test to take or something, and all my supplies were in my locker. And it like from there devolved into like this almost like noir detective thing of me discovering that I had suppressed memories about being on the tennis team and getting hit in the face by a tennis ball.
Oh, no!
It was really intense in like a really weird way.
Yeah, it sounds very dramatic.
I don't even remember if I ever did get my locker open.
You know what upsets me very deeply?
Sure.
I can remember exactly where my locker was sophomore and junior year of high school, but I can't remember where my locker was senior year of high school.
Oh, that is upsetting.
And I think it's because it was really close to the locker I had sophomore year, and so I think I'm getting them confused.
Oh, gotcha.
Wow, these fun anecdotes from American high school.
I'm
was
like,
thinking.
I'm like, did I have a different locker every year? I think I did my sophomore year, but then I feel like I had the same one junior and senior year.
I don't know why we just didn't keep the same locker unless someone changed schools. Like, that seems like a lot easier system.
I just don't. Lockers are so weird and wild.
Yeah, I liked having a locker. I don't know why, it just sounds fun.
Yeah, it was fun. But what I didn't like was having only 5 minutes between classes to
Yeah,
get all
that
the way
was really
across
strange.
campus and like go to the bathroom and feed myself.
Yeah.
American
high
public
school
school
sucks.
systems,
it's
are
just
the
bad.
worst. The
It's
devil.
just not a good place to be, especially in your formative teenage years. America is like, would you like a little bit of trauma before you turn 18?
And I'm like, yes, give it to me.
Give it to me.
Let me just chomp it down.
Would you like to stop biting me?
No, he would not. He's a bastard. Tybalt has taken to a variety of fun activities, such as getting on our TV stand, which we've mentioned many times, but also just plastering himself against my blinds, which is very annoying.
It's very annoying, but also very silly.
So stupid. Yesterday he saw a spider on the other side of the window glass in my room. And he, could not get it through his head that it was on the other side of the glass. And was just, so upset by it. Like, he was doing that whole whisker twitchy thing, where he's kind of like... and trying to get the spider, but you couldn't, Tybalt. That spider outsmarted you by staying on the outside where it belongs.
Yeah. Stop.
So, in these chapters, a woman is murdered and dismembered.
Is so gross.
And Rand reveals that he doesn't know what taxes are.
Yeah, I read that at the end and I was like, how?
Those are my main
first
takeaways.
Time did I not fully grasp that Rand doesn't know what taxes are?
Like, we fully know that the people in the Two Rivers do not pay taxes.
Yeah.
National taxes, but then it's like, so in a village society, do you not pay taxes to the
like the village council
either?
or whatever? Yeah, it was
I guess
very
not, because the
strange.
village council members all have real jobs alongside being.
But they don't even have taxes for welfare purposes.
Apparently
what
not.
if someone's fucking barn burns
How does
down?
Nynaeve get paid?
Yeah, exactly.
Nynaeve's not gonna not heal someone just because.
Yeah.
Nynaeve's a real healthcare worker, so she would treat anyone regardless of their gender identity. Funny how people who wouldn't do that shouldn't be in medicine in the first place. But yeah, how does she, make ends meet if she's not getting paid via
like
taxes.
she should have like a stipend, right? And like a house.
Yeah, you'd think.
So how does Rand not know what like even just like theoretically as a concept?
Like, what is Tam for if not to teach Rand how to pay taxes?
Yeah, but
that's
I
what
feel
dads
like,
do.
Yeah, that's their only purpose.
Literally, you get one dad to teach you how to pay taxes.
Yeah, and then their dad's like, goodbye now.
Goodbye. You no longer. Will no longer be a healthy presence in your life. And you're like, bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad. Yeah, it's very stupid. It makes Rand look very dumb.
Yeah, especially because he's just gone on about how he's so intensely avoiding Moiraine, who would happily teach him how taxes function.
He's like, oh, I guess I'll have to ask Mom how taxes work.
And it's like, oh man, it really. I mean, it's emphasizes the fact that Rand, in his very forced upon him role as savior of the world, is preparing for the dramatic endgame aspect of that, in which he will die in a cosmic force in a fight with a cosmic force of evil, you know, as opposed to all the tedious stuff coming before that, such as ruling countries. Because, like, you know, no one necessarily predicted with the Dragon Reborn that he would have to rule countries, only that he has to go fight the Dark One. But it is sort of a given, the way Rand is doing it.
Yeah,
so,
because Rand's imperialist piece of shit. But how do you understand, like, conquering things, but, like, taxes doesn't factor into your idea there?
Like, he ruled in Tyr for at least a month or two.
Yeah.
Ruled, quote unquote, sort of told people what to do, and I guess he just didn't change any of the tax laws.
I guess.
But he also was, like, doing a bunch of other stuff in the infrastructure, which is what I understand about taxes, is that you can't do infrastructure stuff without changing tax laws.
That's my understanding as well. It's kind of like one of the main purposes of taxes.
It's like literally one of the main purposes of government is to tax. So that they can provide infrastructural services.
Yeah.
We teach this to the kindergartners at the publication I work at. Here's what taxes are.
Yeah. So, Rand has a preschool level education.
Apparently! So upsetting. But that's getting out of order. First we have to deal with Kadir, our resident dark friend peddler, who apparently is Saldean. I don't know what.
Yeah, that struck me really strangely, too.
He's never mentioned as Saldean until now, when it's important to put a frame of reference around his quote-unquote beloved memories of his sister, who, spoiler alert, he did murder. I don't know why everyone always does that with, like, murderer characters. They're like, here's an evil character, and I will present them. Like, this just seems like a trope to me, where you have, like, a chapter or, like, a short work about someone who's evil, and you try and present them in a humanizing light at the end, but then by the end, you've, like, gone back on that and been like, just kidding, they are evil. And it's like, we Ben knew.
Yeah.
And also, even if he had not murdered his sister, he's still a murderer.
Still murders a woman in this chapter and then is, like, happily cutting up her body.
Yeah, just, like, doing shit.
He's also like, the dead don't bleed that much, and I'm like, there's still gonna be blood, though.
I watched this...
What are you gonna, there's a lot of blood in the human body. What are you... It's not just gonna go away.
Like, it's patently untrue that the blood just dries up once the person's dead.
Like, also, she died, like, 30 seconds ago. It's not like she's been dead for 3 days.
Yeah.
And her blood's
Like
congealed
rigor
or
mortis,
whatever.
yeah.
Like, she will bleed everywhere.
It'll be disgusting if you cut apart her body. You don't even have, like, modern power tools to assist you.
It is truly so horrifying.
He's also gonna wag it. How is he gonna get out of there? Well, I mean, that's the point. He's like, got to stash her in a suitcase or something so I can get rid of the body.
And it's like, with blood dripping out of it?
I mean, people do it.
I mean, I know. I've watched Dexter.
Speaking of blood, I was watching this HBO show called Avenue 5, with Hugh Laurie. That's about, like, a cruise ship but in space.
Oh, yeah, I thought that looked funny.
Yeah, and I kind of was like, oh, fine. But then Devin and Janet were like, oh, you should watch it. So I kind of turned on an episode to see if I agreed with their consensus. It was very cute and charming, but also kind of stressful, as many workplace comedies can be. Mm-hmm. But in the first episode, a guy's, like, doing maintenance on the outside of the ship in space, and he, like, dies dramatically by, like, getting a screwdriver stabbed through his heart. And they bring him back in, and the main guy's like, well, look, he's not even bleeding, like, so maybe it missed his heart. And this other person is like, you know, space is cold, right? Like, his blood froze as soon as it thaws, and then like, blood shoots out of his chest. Like, it's disgusting, but it's also very, you know, space is cold, right?
Space is cold, right? You know, you're not in space, my dude.
Yeah.
She's going to bleed.
What's your favorite true crime story? Do you have any? Oh my god, someone was like, if we don't have the police, then who will find murderers? And someone else was like, white women with podcasts.
Yeah, duh.
Obviously.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Listen, Karen and Georgia can probably solve it better than the police anyway.
Well, I was like, listen, Sally doesn't even like true crime, but we are two white women with a podcast, and I could solve some of these murders.
That's true.
You say the husband didn't do it, officer? Nepotism? Well, I say he did. Just because he was in your frat doesn't mean he's not a murderer.
Yeah. Officer nepotism.
This has been a very angry and combative episode of EHR, but what are you going to do when you read about a man murdering a woman and dismembering her body?
Don't worry, no blood, though.
Don't worry, no blood, though, because she's already dead. That's what happens when you die. The blood disappears.
Yeah. Yeah, death vampires come and drink it immediately.
Ghost vampires.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, finally, I'm so hungry.
Bad.
Nobody's murdered anyone in this spot for weeks.
I mean, to actually summarize, Kadir's just chilling, being like, oh man, it's so hard to be a dark friend in these trying times.
Yes, it's very annoying.
Lanfear gave me these orders to keep an eye on the Dragon Reborn and, Natail, aka Asmodean, who he does not know is Asmodean. And he's like, that's so hard, especially because I'm not doing any work. I'm just setting my homegirl Izendra on Rand, which sort of explains the relentless hitting on Rand that Izendra has been doing. But she shows up to chat and is like, I'm not doing... Apparently she's been sleeping with Asmodean, which is like, girl, you could do better.
But also, like, somehow I think I missed that on my first read.
Yeah.
And this time I was like, what?
She's like, all he wants to do is play music I've never heard before and make love. And I'm like, I mean, the guy's got to blow off steam, but...
I was like, what?
So wild.
It was, like, it is so strange to me. I don't know why.
It's just, like, not a pairing, really. You don't... I sort of envision Asmodean as this sexless being.
Yeah, I think it's because Asmodean is, like, pretty heavily queer-coded.
Yeah.
At least in this particular iteration of him as, you know, a delicate bard wasting away in the corner. And so I'm like, what?
Yeah. Especially when you have Izendra, this, like,
yeah,
compilation of all the terrible tropes about, quote-unquote sluts.
Yeah, it's...
written by heterosexual men. It's interesting that Izendra is most heavily punished for her, quote, promiscuity, unquote, by other women. And pretty telling, I think.
Yeah.
About Robert Jordan.
Yeah. Why, though?
Why, though? Why must we police? I mean, Izendra's a bad lady. But why must we police women's sexuality by having women who are blatantly sexual without strings attached, quote unquote, like marriage or a relationship, be evil? We see both Izendra and Melindra kind of filling those roles in this book. So, a bit bizarre.
It's getting to the point where I don't even have words for how misogynistic Robert Jordan is.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even form a coherent thought anymore. Or maybe I'm just tired.
Anyways, Ender got her head and her eyebrows shaved, which, like, I'm on the very edge of doing myself
Don't
in these
shave your
quarantine
eyebrows.
times. I won't.
You can shave your head, though. Please don't shave your eyebrows.
And she's just like, no, I'm not going to try anymore. So Kadir's like, you've outlived your usefulness, and strangles her to death, and then is like, what will I do with the body? Luckily, there's no blood, so I will dismember it.
It's so upsetting to me.
He's like, oh, and just by the way, I did kill my sister, who I've been referring to throughout this chapter as missing her.
Yeah.
In precisely the same way, essentially. And it's like, dude.
Why are you so stanky?
Why are you so stanky?
Yeah, that's just my question for you. Why are you so stanky?
It's also, like, casually fat-phobic that he's one of our very few, canonically, quote-unquote, fat characters who, I mean, is this evil serial murderer of women.
Yeah. No, this is also a very fat-phobic text. I just, in the epilogue, see what you did to me? The prologue of Path of Daggers, the, like, narrating character is like, that is the fattest man I've ever seen on a horse. How is his horse not dead, basically? And it's like, shut up.
Referring to whom?
Just some dude. It's like the meeting of all the Borderlander
Oh, yeah.
homies and whoever the fuck is narrating.
Oh, yeah, you're finally getting the Borderlander homies being
Yeah.
like, hey, we're in the plot, too.
And I'm like, what?
And it's like, literally, no, you're not.
Yeah. Whatever. I'll save it for the blog, I guess, which people will read in 8 years when everyone's finished a memory of light.
Listen, if I have to read it, then so do you. Anyway, we then switch over to Rand, who, as Sally mentioned, is just looking at a river. Because that's sort of the, level of emo white boy sadness that we've descended to. Rand's like, I could just look at this river all day.
It's like, okay.
And Sulin, one of the maidens, approaches him and is like, you should eat. And Rand's like, all these women are babying me. And it's like, when people are like, you should eat.
Yeah.
Why is that so offensive to you, Rand?
Men freak out when they're not in power for even 30 seconds.
He's like, I'll starve myself if I want to. And Sulin's like,
Okay.
fine, do that.
I don't fucking care anymore.
You absolute bastard.
I hate you.
And while he's chatting with Sulin, there's the approach of horses, led by 2 Terrans whose names are very confusingly Estion and Adorian, both starting with the letter E, so they kind of get mixed up. If you've read this enough times, I believe both of them were present at Matt's card-playing game early on in Book 4, when he got attacked by playing cards. So it's kind of sad that they don't get to see Matt again here.
Like, hey!
Ah, hey!
It's that motherfucker.
You're horrifying. Oh, Rand does tell us that a few, weird fate-bending things have been happening. Sulin's like, we were gambling, but suddenly everyone was throwing 6s, and Rand's like, oh, sorry. And Sulin's like, what? For what?
Yeah.
And, that some dude just tripped and broke his neck. Quote-unquote freak accidents.
Yep.
That type of thing. Meanwhile, some people just fell into a viper pit, which is so bizarre.
They didn't get bit by any of the
did not
vipers,
get
so it's
bit.
like that scene in Holes.
Oh, man. Just like that scene in Holes.
Except there's no onions.
And unlike that scene in Vikings, when Ragnar gets executed by getting thrown into a pit of snakes.
Horrifying.
I know, the, medieval English and everyone was just like, what are the worst ways we could kill someone? And they're like, we'll do it. Have fun. Yeah. Very gross.
Listen, weren't people, just disgusted by the human body the way we are in the 21st century?
I guess not.
Have they not learned shame yet?
No, the shame was imposed by the introduction of bras. We can track it. As bra sales increased, public executions decreased.
Everyone's too busy looking at those perky titties and
So-
feeling ashamed about it.
No! Ankles. Cankles.
These very sexy cankles.
I
that
just
you
think the word
have.
cankles is
It's
so funny.
So funny. I love it when people are like, "Look at my toddler's cankles."
I'm like, your toddler just has ankles.
it's too.
These chubby little ankles. That's adorable.
It's so cute.
Yeah, it's all the little dimples.
I know. Babies are so funny.
Fat babies are.
I know.
So
Love a
good.
fat baby.
So these two guys essentially report that Kyrian is obviously under siege by Couladin. And Rand's like, okay, well, can the city hold? And they're like they're traveling with some Kyrian dudes who are like, we think we can hold out for maybe 8 or 9 more days. And Rand's like, to Ruark, they're like, surely you won't be able to make it in time because none of you have horses. And Rand, like, to Ruark is like, how long? And Ruark's like, 7 days.
Yeah.
And Rand's like, sweet. Fucking
What a
badass.
convenient number. It is one less than what I need.
Hell yeah. So he's like, you guys have to go back and report to the Kyrianin that will be there to back them up. They just have to hold for those 8 or 9 days. And the two Kyrianins and one of the Terrans is like, sweet, we'll do it. We're loyal to you. And the other Terran, Estion, who keeps asking if there is any alcohol on the premises because, as we saw in Book 4 also, he's definitely an alcoholic, is like, well, I'll stay here, I guess. And Rourke's like, great, we'll question you. And he's like, no, maybe I want to go back behind enemy lines. And Rourke's like, I'll be nice, I promise. Because Rand is making me, for no other reason. And of course the central themes there are the tensions between Kyrianin and Terran. Rand references about 6 times how the Terrans call to the Kyrianins as though they are dogs. But Rand also himself likens, I believe, both Kyrianins and Terrans to dogs in the way that they are effacing themselves in their haste to
Please him.
to react to him like they would a lord in their own cultures. And Rand's just kind of like, please stop kissing my hands. Icky.
It's a pandemic out there, dudes. What you doing?
Guys, stop. Guys, social distancing.
CDC says no! No hand kissing.
Stop it with the hand kissing. And the ankle looking.
No, the ankle looking.
The ankle looking is fine. You can do that from 6 feet away. Oh, yeah.
Gonna get real sexy in here.
Gross. I know there's foot fetishes, but is like ankle fetish part of that, or is it a separate thing?
I don't know. Some people have very nice ankles.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
I don't know. He does have a few of an ankle fetish, I guess.
Hit us up if you have an ankle fetish. I'd rather you didn't, if I'm being honest.
I'm just curious.
Is it just the ankles, or is it the whole zone?
The whole foot zone.
The whole
the
foot
whole
zone.
hoof zone.
Right, yeah. Kyrianins and Terrans do not respect each other. The irony is that I believe most of these men, the Terrans at least, I'm not sure about the Kyrianins, neither of their names were familiar to me, which, wasted chance to introduce some important Kyrianin characters. What few there are. But they'll all end up in the Band of the Red Hand working together, and those tensions will eventually dissipate. Less because of Matt's stellar leadership. We would never call Matt a stellar leader of men. He's a good military leader, but
Hates other humans.
But he hates other people, and that sort of, dims his
shining light.
No one is going to say, oh, Captain, my Captain, to Matt Cathon.
I mean, I would.
I mean, yeah.
If you know what I mean.
But, like, in a sexy way.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Show me those ankles. That was a very funny noise.
Don't clip that noise. Do you think he has good calves and good ankles?
Well, we know canonically he's got a good butt.
So you would think the whole lower half would be pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be like a whole package, Like you need strong calves, ankles, and thighs to hold up all that cake.
I just want this episode to end. I just want it to be over, and I'm trying so hard. Whatever. Rand doesn't know what taxes are, and he's like, great.
Because they make a bet. Some motherfucker's like, I'll give you like $1 billion if you make it to Kyrie on time.
Dorian's like, I will give you, like, let's have a bet. 1,000 gold crowns, or whatever the hell it is, that you won't make it to Kyrie in time. And Rand's like, I've never seen that much money in my life. And Sulan's like, it's because you don't know what taxes are.
It's because you're fucking stupid.
Sulan's like, oh, we'll take that bet if you up it.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, all right, fine. Who knows how he has this much money?
Yeah.
But he's like, I just realized if I win, I won't even collect. So it's like, dude, why even?
Are you stupid? Rich people are stupid.
I know, but Rand's like, I don't have that much money to Sulan. And Sulan's like, well, since you are the chief of the ale, 1/5 of what the ale get goes to you. So technically, you own 1/10 of Tyr.
Yeah.
Just like total. And Rand's like, okay, didn't know that, but you know.
The
great.
You know.
And Matt's like, I have 1/10 of Tyr also, but it's through sheer earnings in dice with Terrans. So consider that. Who is more efficient?
Where does Matt keep all his money? Does Matt have a bank account? Does Matt have a MasterCard?
Banks are referenced as being a thing when Elaine is becoming queen, because she has some like finance chat and bankers are mentioned.
Boring.
Yeah, it's incredibly boring. But no, I am almost 100% sure that Matt does not keep his money in banks, because if anyone screams, don't trust the banks, keep your money under the bed energy, then it's Matt.
You're right. You're so right, Emily.
I think he has a shoebox that's just full of coins.
Just puts it on the back of his horse.
Yeah. Legitimately. Actually, we know later in books that he has like chests of money. Literal. Just chests of money.
Weird pirate boy.
I know.
Do people like guard his chests of money?
He just like leaves them in his tent. And it's like, dude,
that's so much dollars.
So many dollars. I want someone to write a fan fiction that's about a heist committed against Matt Cathon.
Steal all his money.
Just like random characters.
Yeah.
Make up your own characters, and they're like, we are going to steal from Matt Cathon.
Yeah. Better yet, have Brigitte steal. She's like, it's just so easy.
She's the mastermind.
Yeah.
I've put together an elite group. Myself. And that's it.
Myself.
So, that's that. Rand's like, alright, great. Guess we're on the road headed for Kyrie, and then nothing really has changed except that we now have an update on the situation at Kyrian, which is that Couladin is besieging it and just, you know, setting fire to things and torturing people so that everyone else will be nice and freaked out. And it's like, great guy.
Yeah, and it's like, Robert Jordan, we knew he was the bad guy. You could just tell us he's at Kyrian.
He is as Kyrie, yeah.
And we'd be like, yep, time to go stop the bad guy from doing bad guy
We don't need further motivation.
We already saw those people, like, hung up or whatever.
Yeah.
Back at the mountain.
Tragically, next week will be about Sex Igloo. The face you're making now is indescribable. I seriously can't tell if it's joy or disgust or a mixture of both.
I think it's mostly disgust.
Yeah.
Because I hate Sex Igloo. On as a person who's very invested in the idea of sex positivity,
yeah,
it is like antithetical to my very being.
Hard to get behind Sex Igloo.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, Sex Igloo is a minor increase in quality over the dismembering of a woman.
Yeah, but
not by much. And the fact that it's not by much is pretty upsetting.
Yeah, they're also, like, too close together in the text, I think.
Yeah, lots of, horror.
Like
anyway. Silence of the Lambs and then immediately slides into 50 Shades of Grey. And it's like, what kind of double feature is that, you know? Not a good one. I propose.
A bad one.
A bad one. Primarily because they're two very bad movies. But that's...
Never seen Silence of the Lambs. Never will.
Don't. So bad.
Yeah.
Someone made me watch it because they were like, it's a classic. And I was like, it's transphobic.
Yeah. I don't believe in classics.
Yeah.
I will watch The Fall, and that is it.
That's a good one.
And maybe A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale. Both. Two movies with very good costuming.
Yeah. Anyway, that was this episode or whatever.
We'll see what I gather.
Yeah, cobbled together out of that.
Out
We
of
can
that.
re-record it if it's too messy.
No, I would sooner die than re-record an episode. That's my challenge to myself. So that's that. As I said, next week is Sex Igloo, so look forward to that, or look forward to skipping that, as the case may be. Thanks to Glenna McKenzie for our theme song. Thanks to the accompaniment by the squash in the oven, which you may or may not be able to hear. Thanks to all of you for listening and supporting. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
We are continuing to offer stickers, complimentary stickers to anyone who sends us a donation receipt that they donated to any of the organizations helping out with the quote-unquote revolution, as it were. The organizations helping with the Black Lives Matter movement, bail funds, mutual aid funds, organizations on the ground, helping Black people, helping to defund the police, all that good stuff. We'll send you one of our lovely stickers.
One I've heard about this week, an organization is the Okra Project, which is all about assisting Black trans people, feeding Black trans people. So that's a really good one if you're looking for one to donate to.
That'd be awesome. Because Black trans people deserve a lot more than our country has been giving them, so.
Which is primarily murder.
Yeah.
Thanks, America.
So that is just going to be a standing offer until we run out of stickers, so please make your donations as frequently as you are able. As always, Emily will be playing Wind Waker live this Friday. Thinking of next week.
You know, it's next week. That's a long way off, my guys.
But in your timeline this Friday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, if you need a little more EHR in your week.
Lighthearted. It's just me screaming while I fight a worm or whatever.
Yeah, that was very stressful last week.
Reciting the litany against fear from Dune.
Fear's the mind killer.
Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration.
Anyway, it's very silly.
I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have a sign-off?
I do, unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
There's some listeners submitting sign-offs, but I have to say this out loud publicly for the people to judge me so that it can no longer haunt me so much. On Monday, my lovely friends moved into an apartment really close to us, like 3 or 4 minutes away. So I was trying to be like good, friendly neighbor person. And before I go back on our whole social distancing stance, I have to see these people at work. So I unfortunately am not able to distance from them. So I didn't even ask you if it was okay, but I kind of figured that like I can't not see Julie and Gethin because I am forced to go into work. So anyway, I was bringing them dinner. And we're having a lovely time watching Gethin unpack his stuff. And he needed to get past me, and there was a little shelf in the hallway that had a pretty expensive bottle of gin on it. And as I turned around, apparently hit the shelf with my ass, and the bottle fell to the floor, shattering into like literally 100 million pieces. And so there was just like glass everywhere and gin everywhere, and Sweet Gethin reached down to pick a piece of glass up and sliced his finger open. And we didn't have any Band-Aids because they were just doing like a quick move-in. But Gethin was like, oh no, I have a first aid kit in my car. Turns out that didn't have any Band-Aids in it either. So he was just like in the sink bleeding while me and Nathan are trying to Swiffer mop up all this fucking gin. It was truly one of the most embarrassing things that has happened to me in a while. Because it's like, why would that happen to a human being?
Was the shelf on the wall?
No.
Oh, okay. I just had like a visual of a shelf with just
Yeah.
a freestanding bottle of gin, like a
that was like
decoration.
out right at butt height. It wouldn't be very tall because I don't have very long legs. And it's very upsetting because, like, I don't even have, like, an ass with a presence, you know?
I just want to call back to earlier in the podcast when you said something about Matt Cathon's cake.
Yeah. Too much cake, baby.
And I think that was the problem here. Just too much cake, baby.
Matt Cathon would have also broken the bottle of gin, I guess. Anyway, it was really sad, and I feel really terrible because I broke bottle gin and made one of my friends bleed, and it was really embarrassing, and I had to flee the premises immediately.
But gin is terrible, so...
It does smell very aggressively like a Christmas tree.
Oh, that's a shocking revelation. I guess I've never smelled gin before.
It just smells like Christmas.
Like Christmas.
I don't like gin or really alcohol. Anyway, it was sad. Don't, just be careful where you put your ass this week, I guess. I gotta go get my squash.
Goodbye.